and welcome. Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena welcomes you. We welcome all members, friends, and guests, and walkers in. My name is Elizabeth Erickson, and I'm happy to serve as your worship associate. Neighborhood Church creates, grows an inclusive community of faith that's connected by love, by spirit, and service. We acknowledge our presence on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva people, the traditional caretakers of these lands and these waters here on our campus. Today's service is led by the amazing Reverend Dr. Omega S. Burkhart. The music is, who said that? Woo. Okay, the music is led by Michael Fausto. Here he is, hiding, but not for long. Pianist Wells Ling, who says I do pronounce his name correctly. And Neighborhood Bells, led by F. Thomas Simpson. Where is he? There in the back, looking like a leader. And the neighborhood chorus today is directed by Sonia Ohan. Sonia, where are you? Yay, Sonia! Okay, thank you for your attention, but please silence your devices so we don't hear from your friends and neighbors as we begin our service. Families with young children are always welcome in the sanctuary, always. And there is an additional play area out there in the narthex for the very youngest, for adults and older children, and we have demonstration already. If you don't need assistance, there's a quiet table here for doodling, drawing. That's close to the organ. So I have two announcements, and then we have a special reminder. You have a great chance to join us for an immigrant solidarity workshop right here at Neighborhood after the service today. In this community gathering, organizers will lead a discussion about concrete ways to support the immigrant house cleaners, nannies, gardeners, day laborers, and caregivers who sustain our homes and communities. And we'll hear more about that in just a minute. For next Sunday, it's the third Sunday Theology and Food Drive. Join our amazing Reverend Omega for a discussion of authoritarianism. Oh, those shouldn't go together. No. That's right. She's not authoritarian. Anyway, join her for a discussion of democracy. There we go. Democracy, authoritarianism, and your role in making social change. It'll take place here in the sanctuary. And up next is the 2026 Pledge Drive team with a few announcements. So let's greet our pledge team. Yay!
Thank you, Elizabeth. Just very quickly, I just wanted to remind you all again that the past presidents and Canvas Committee are hosting a fellowship dinner in 2 weeks last night. So mainly what I wanted to do today, I think you've heard all about that multiple times I've been up here, but mainly just today is the last day to RSVP for that event. And I need to make sure that if you've signed up as a volunteer, you still need to make an RSVP. You can do that at the table afterwards, outside, or there's a link in the newsletter to do that online. Outside of that, I'm really excited. Right now, we've got about 80 people signed up, so it's officially a party. I look forward to seeing you all there, and RSVP. Thanks. Canvas Committee.
Good morning. I am Kevin Croker, and I'm here with Farrell Menon and Sarah Marcotte. And as advertised, we are your pledge team for this year. And we're excited. We're just 2 weeks away from pledge season starting. Right after the dinner, it'll be the following Sunday. If there may be a few people here who sort of maybe don't know what a pledge drive is, so we thought I would cover that really quickly. It's the time of the year where we as members make it a formal financial commitment to Neighborhood Church. And once we collect all of everyone's commitment, we can then finalize the budget. And so that's the process, and I'm going to turn it over to Farrell.
So this is some of the things for you, that you can look forward to in the next couple months. We're going to be at the dinner on the 21st, hopefully to inspire you, not to ask you for money. Remember, this is a fundraiser, not a fund, F-U-N-D. We're not even going to have pledge cards there. That's new, right? Yeah, okay. This year, what our plan is to reach out to each one of you and see you individually, either in groups, which I'm going to say a little bit about, or individually. We're going to have cottage meetings. And in these cottage meetings, you're going to be able to talk about what you love most about the church, what you hope for in the future, and your commitment to the church, any concerns that you have, and we're going to be there to answer questions about pledging, as well as to give you some information that we hope will help you in making a pledge. So that's what you can look forward to, and we think it's going to be fun. We're really very excited about it. I'm supposed to bring it home.
So, bring it home, girl. So you'll have an opportunity to sign up for these cottage meetings, and we'll do them on Zoom or in person. And again, this is really a time for you to discuss your thoughts, loves, hopes, dreams, wishes, concerns about our church. So it's a really nice touch point. We would love to talk to as many of you as possible, because I think that's it's a real time to have these authentic discussions together. And pledge season officially kicks off on the 22nd, so that is the day after our dinner, in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, lasagna.
We have a lot to do in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we have a lot to do. And then we will be, the canvas or pledge drive will be running all throughout the month of March. So you'll be hearing a lot more about it. You'll be hearing from other members from this space talking about why they pledge and what it means to them and what it means to support this beloved community. So we look forward to all of you participating and having these discussions and your participation, and especially at the dinner. Have we forgotten anything?
One thing.
Is it on the paper?
We will, they may have mentioned this and I just missed it, but we will also be canvassing individually. So it will be a combination of individual canvasses and the group canvases. And if you want to be individually canvassed, we'll have an opportunity for you to do that, and we've identified some people that we plan to reach out to as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you're one of those thinkers who likes to know what's going to happen before it happens, our order of service is available for you this morning. It's a link in the Sunday email that was sent out, and online by scanning the QR code in the back of your hymnal with your phone camera, so you can be informed. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church, an inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service.
gather today as a large, interconnected web. We are just a small part here in our region, but we are connected to a broader world of beloveds who are united in values and action. Today, our service will take a slightly different shape as I come to you with lessons, some news, a few photos of my short but impactful time in Minneapolis a few weeks ago. An area of the country that's similar to this region here in Los Angeles, but different in some ways, is confronting the daily reality of being in the literal crosshairs of state-sponsored violence. So let us begin our conversation today with these words of chalice lighting from the Reverend Lynn Unger. She writes this: I am looking for a few good fools, not idiots, though Lord knows those are thick on the ground. I mean, proper fools, the court jester who speaks truth to the king, the tarot card fool who dances blithely, little dog at his heels on the edge of a cliff. Of course, the chasm is real and more dangerous than you can imagine. Famine and drought and corruption and greed, war and genocide, it's all there. Which is precisely why I'm looking for fools. Fools who know how to juggle not just balls, but also possibilities. Who can keep incompatible ideas simultaneously aloft. Fools who step lightly, who dance because their feet are tired and there are rocks in the road. Fools who know that sometimes the only way to find a new path is by getting lost. I'm not saying the job is easy. Bumps and bruises are assured, and the pay is literally a joke. But still, the work is not without its reward. The view from the cliff is extraordinary, and the company is divine. Who doesn't want to journey in a cloud of laughter? And what on your full agenda is so much more important than that? You know you want to join the merry band. Here is your badge. Commence. Now, while I was in Minneapolis, as some of you know, I came back feeling a little under the weather, so my voice isn't as strong as it normally is. However, I think it will serve the purpose for our following invitation to centering today. So I'm going to ask for your help, however, in this. Now, part of our world right now is causing us to feel activated at every moment. How many of you are struggling constantly with a feeling of activation thanks news cycles and social media? Yeah. So we're going to join in a practice today that is a full body reset of our nervous system. So I invite you to join in a few different ways. The first is we're going to be creating some resonance together, and my deepened voice works really well for this. I invite you to participate, though, however, in whichever way feels right for you, either in voice or in body. What we'll be doing is creating a resonance sound together. You find the note that works for you, and then I'll invite you to put your hands both on your chest and on the center around your low belly and feel that resonance in yourself. And it might start something like this. Don't forget to breathe also. Keep going, feel the resonance in your chest. Feel it getting lower into the low part of your stomach. that sound, now I invite you to raise your hands out in a motion of receiving. And perhaps you'd like to put your hands up now and feel the resonance in the air. Keep going, don't forget to breathe. And maybe you feel it in the palms of your hands. Bring your hands down to your lap, palms up. And we'll bring that to a close. Welcome to service today.
Good morning. Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 1018, Come and Go With Me. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm
I would like to invite the children and youth to come up for a story. What's the story? Our story today is called Sometimes People March by Tessa Allen. Sometimes ants march. Sometimes bands march. that is called a marching band. Sometimes people march. Marching is something people do together when they want to resist injustice or when they notice the need for change. People march for many reasons. People march for things they care about and people they love. People march for the health of their bodies and their communities and the world. People march for the freedom to love and live and learn. Sometimes people carry signs to share their stories of resistance. People resist in many ways. Sometimes people resist with their voices. They might resist with words, or with songs or art. People resist with meetings. They resist by standing up or sitting down or taking a knee. It isn't always easy. Feet get tired, arms get tired, hearts and hopes get tired. Sometimes problems seem too big or complex. But we do not march alone. Ants are stronger together. Bands are stronger together. People are more powerful together. Sometimes from feelings of fear or anger or injustice comes the hope for change. Yeah, they're working together to make a hope sign. Sometimes great change starts small with a brave question. Maybe your question, a question that calls people together. And together, we find the courage to march. That's our story for today. Join me in singing the kids out to their classes.
Wonderful, stronger together. And when I was getting ready to come up here, I met someone from another UU church, New York. Shelley, will you just raise your hand? Anybody else here from another congregation visiting us in solidarity today? Oh my gosh, say your name. Ah, welcome, welcome. So welcome to all of you. One of the things our congregation does is each Sunday we dedicate 100% of our contributions to a charitable organization. You can donate in one of two ways. You can use your cell phone to donate by texting the number on the screen. That will come up when the planets and spacecraft align. Or if you prefer to donate in person, put your donation in one of the designated boxes during the music or after the service. You may rise during the service, during the music, to put your donation in the box if you wish. Please extend help to those in your neighborhood who may need assistance reaching the donation boxes. If you wish to make a payment toward your pledge or contribute to church operations, just make a note on the subject line or use the envelope that's available in the donation areas. This week, our gifts support Hand in Hand. These are the amazing folks who are leading our workshop today, Immigrant Solidarity. So if you can't go to the workshop, you can support them financially. And to speak to us about that is the lead California organizer with Hand in Hand, Kayla Shore. Where are you? Come on up here. Thank you, Kayla.
I'm a little shorter than everybody here. All right. So wonderful to be with this beautiful community. I'm feeling my spirits lifted and strengthened by being here and singing with you all. And you'll hear from me more if you come to the workshop, so I'll be brief. But again, my name is Kayla. I'm an organizer with Hand in Hand, the Domestic Employers Network. You may have met our wonderful member, Kate, who was here last week. And thank you if you've already generously contributed. Hand in Hand is a grassroots membership-based network of employers of domestic workers who are organizing in solidarity with the workers in our homes and in our communities. So anyone who's hired a house cleaner, a caregiver, a gardener, a nanny, we are organizing together under the leadership and the direction of those workers, and we've been doing that for the past 15 years in California. I've had the privilege of organizing alongside very courageous workers, largely from the Philippines, Mexico, Central America, for the past 6 years, going to Sacramento to fight for their rights and support them in that fight. And this year we have seen people, these really courageous women who have been sharing their stories, now sheltering in place and staying home and afraid to go to work, to go to buy groceries, no longer sharing their stories with the world, fighting for their rights, fighting for the rights of so many other people. So they've really asked us as their longtime allies to step up in this moment and be educating and organizing the people who have citizenship privilege, who may be employing them in our homes, right? So we are organizing folks who employ these workers to start with our own relationships in our own homes, knowing that so much of the powerful organizing that we talked about that was in that beautiful children's book that can start with that one brave conversation that we have by extending concrete support to the workers in our homes and then building from there in our communities. So we have been acting on this conviction, acting on the direction of our domestic worker partners, doing house parties, trainings, creating resources, doing park outreach to really get these resources and organize our communities to support workers by creating emergency plans, becoming emergency contacts, even just using our printers to help them print sensitive documents, whatever that may look like, right, in this moment. And so this work is really possible. The thousands and thousands of people we've reached in person and online is possible because of the support of the communities like you who are doing this work in your own homes, and also the way you support us with gifts. So if you are moved to give to us this week, we welcome your support. We're so grateful for the opportunity. And the last thing I'll say is we've really focused our fundraising on our worker partners this past year. It's been such an emergency, and they want us to keep doing this work. So I'm taking this one opportunity today to invite you to support us as well. And so grateful and hope that we get to see you at 11:30 for the workshop today. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. If you want to support with your body, you meet with Kayla after the service. If you want to support with your checkbook, we ask you to give generously. Oops.
Thank you to our bell choir and director. As you may be noticing, we're trying a new configuration here in the sanctuary, and we're trying it out to see how it works for our choir and for you all today. So thank you for your flexibility. I spoke to more than one of you who walked in and said, oh, my normal seat is gone. It's all right. It's all right. For our reading this morning, I'm actually going to invite you to watch a short video. Could you show the first slide of that video of some of the participants? So as many of you know, a few weeks ago, I participated in a collective action response to the call from the community of Minneapolis that it continues to, but at that time was reeling from the shooting of Renee Good. And as we all know, that has continued, that level of violence has continued. I responded to that call as a clergy person, and we arrived, I'll talk a little bit about the specifics in a few minutes, but we arrived en masse. There were close to 1,000 clergy who responded to that call from across the country. And the call was made by an organization called MARCH, which stands for Multi-Faith, Anti-Racism, Change, and Healing. And these signs right here are the protest signs that they organized for us, and we carried these through the streets of Minneapolis while we were engaging in some direct action. So the short video that I would like to show to you was actually created by this organization, and it sums up the first day of trainings and speakers that we attended. This group of clergy, we met at Westminster Presbyterian in Minneapolis, and we had a day of learning, engagement, of going out into the streets, coming back, meeting with community members. And if, go back one slide for just a second, some of the folks who you're gonna see in this video, you may recognize these were folks who were speakers that were organized by this collective of faith leaders and labor and social organizers. Janeda Petrus is the poet laureate of Minneapolis. She spoke with us. You may recognize Reverend Mary Ann Buddy, who of course is the Episcopal minister who spoke a little truth to power with our president. Jim Bear Jacobs is a local indigenous leader, and he is there speaking on behalf of the indigenous communities of the upper Midwest. Valerie Cower is a religious leader actually from here in Los Angeles who does quite a bit of work with CLUE. Lena Gardner is the executive director of Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. These are just a few of the folks who gathered with us during that day. There were many, many more. I hope that you take away from this the incredible amount of support, excitement, and engagement that came together for all of these folks to gather. And these were faith leaders from across the country and every religious tradition represented. If we could show the short video, please.
Welcome to Minneapolis, y'all. Oh, my friends, you are a beautiful, beautiful sight.
Here we are, Muslims and Christians, Sikh, Buddhist, Unitarian, Jews, atheists, Hindus, and more and more and more, united in our desire to confront this surge of ICE agents, this attack on democracy, and this attack on our neighbors.
Every single time somebody stands up and stands in opposition to this tyranny, it gives people courage to do likewise.
I am brave because we are brave.
I am brave because we are brave.
Matakwe Oyasu. We are all related.
We are part of a song of love that began long ago with our ancestors and will only get louder.
We know from other countries who have either defeated authoritarianism or are actively defeating it that we can do it too.
We need to take ownership of our country and what we become.
This is a bright line moment for our country and our values.
And we will not turn back.
This administration has no idea how soft and sweet
true love and true care and true community can be.
We are creative, we are irrepressible, we are brave.
We have everything we need right here.
The words here at the end are kind of hard to read and they're very small, but basically it is the demands that this organization, this collective of faith leaders, labor leaders, and social organizers have demanding that ICE get out of Minneapolis. So that is what this last slide is. Thank you. We'll move into our next. But we're going to sing that in a few minutes. My time in Minneapolis was gifted to me by this congregation. I take that as a responsibility to you all, to our broader Unitarian Universalist community, to our region, and to my interfaith partners. So I want to start by thanking you for your support, and I also want to start by saying I went there on behalf of this congregation. You were with me. I would not have been able to go without the support, both financially, of this congregation and also explicitly of your board. I was in conversation with them in the time leading up to make sure that we had contingency plans. What happens if Reverend Omega gets arrested? Which was a very distinct possibility. I'm engaged in direct action work here in this region as well. We have contingency plans for that as well. I go with express consent on behalf of and as a mission of this congregation. And so for that, I thank you, and also know that I do that work with you in my heart always. Now, I'd like to show the first slide, and this, I'm going to say, is a little less of a sermon and more a little bit of showing you some pictures and talking about them, which nobody likes to sit through anybody's vacation pictures except for their own. So I am here to share with you the lessons that I'm bringing with you, and I want to thank our tech team because we practiced a little bit, but they're going to show photos as we go through, and I want to bring these lessons to you. So this is a photograph I took on the first day of our meetings in Minneapolis at the church. This was interfaith work. We were called, we were invited to come into this space. The first day we were on a social media blackout because of the threat to many of the folks who were gathered in organizing there. So I tried to not get anyone's face, but by the second day they assured us that we could then post the photos. So this was taken as we were gathering in the morning. Now I'm going to tell you something. This is a group of ministers, pastors, religious leaders from everywhere, theological differences aside. Because what we were gathered in was not a you issue, but an opposition to supposed Christian nationalism. And I say supposed because I'm not so sure it's Christian. I'm pretty sure it's nationalistic. So that's a real deal. So gathered in this space were between 1,000 and 1,100 religious leaders from around the country, as you saw in the video, and we were uniting with community organizers and labor leaders. They invited us into this space, and that's tremendously important when you're engaged in direct action, that you are taking your leadership from the people who are engaged in that work. And so when they said no social media, we heard it, right? Because we didn't want to put anyone in danger. Can I have the next picture as well? I did have a theological issue, though, on the Trinity stairs. I thought it was funny. Those of you who are not Unitarian Universalists, we were gathering in a space. We were invited by another faith tradition, and the UUs were well represented. There were over 200 of us from around the country. Yeah. So, to put that into perspective, we're talking about 1,100 faith leaders and over 200 Unitarian Universalists. So we were thick in the Trinity stairs, and that felt great. And if you're curious why that's funny, please make an appointment with me, and we'll talk. We'll talk about that. Now, the initial call, I just want to be very clear about the timeline. The initial call to clergy was made on Friday. We showed up on Wednesday the following week. We thought maybe there'd be a couple of hundred interfaith clergy from the round. 1,100 people signed up, and we broke their registration system. The group that stepped in to assist in the registration was the Unitarian Universalist Association. So it is our broader faith network that helped. So they were in real time responding to this massive group of people, including organizing food, housing. Most of us did homestays, and coats, because most people don't live where it's -20. And so what is also in this hall I did not take a picture of were piles of parkas and hand warmers and hats and coats. So during this first day, we gathered to learn, we gathered to go into the streets, and we gathered in nourishment for our souls, for the clergy who were there. Can I see the next slide, please? Now, part of what we did on the first day, including, I am there, in the red. Part of what we did on the first day was organize, to learn, and to go into the community in ways that were helpful and by invitation. Now, what we learned about, I'm going to pause for a second and step back and say, some of you know this. My first area of research in my life, I was a professor at a university. My dissertation happens to be on dictatorial nostalgia and what happens. I studied authoritarian regimes, okay? I never thought that I would be using some of the same terminology when I went into ministry, and yet here we are. Now, what a lot of the work that we did in the first day was learning what time period we are in. We are in what is called an authoritarian breakthrough at this moment. Or you can also frame it as a democratic backslide, depending on your frame of reference. Now, this terminology is put forth by the freedom trainers, and they term it as this. It is a short window of time when a would-be authoritarian regime attempts to rapidly consolidate power, eliminate checks of their power, and they are operating without impunity. So that is what is happening right now. So we were invited into the community to do work and bear witness for a community that is suffering. Now, I was and still am engaged in direct action here in Los Angeles, and there was a change in Minneapolis. And the change in Minneapolis is it was with wild abandoned violence in the streets, and as you have seen in the news. And so they were asking for support. So we went into the community as clergy. These are my buddies. We were required to form a pod for safety for a couple of reasons. So on the far left is a UCC minister wearing his ski gear because it was -20. In the middle is a minister, a UU minister from Phoenix, and I am on the right. We were asked to go to certain areas of the city. We started here at this intersection. This is George Floyd Square. Could I see the next slide, please? So we are standing at the intersection in front of Unity Foods where George Floyd was murdered. This is right here, the shrine and place of remembrance for him. Can I see the next picture, please? Here in this area. And the next picture, leave up for a second, is a map. Thank you. And the reason I'm showing this is, first of all, we didn't go anywhere we weren't invited to go by local leaders, which was very important. What we did in my safety pod is we started our patrols, our walking tour, I would prefer to use that word, where George Floyd was murdered. Just a few blocks away is where Renee Good was murdered. And then we walked up and ended right around the area where Alex Preddy was murdered, the moment I was actually at the airport leaving to come back here. So this is the corridor in South Minneapolis. And the reason I'm showing you this is not my photo, this has been circulating in other places, but the reason I'm showing you this is it's all related. Don't think it's not related, okay? What we're talking about is state-sponsored violence against people who are not conforming. And this is what we have in Minneapolis. Now, if you could go to the next slide, please. The time that we spent in this area was short, it was direct. We were in the streets in various ways. There were clergy who were arrested at the airport in a demonstration. They asked very specifically that the only clergy who planned to be arrested be clergy from that area to not tax their system of organization. So only clergy from the Minneapolis area were arrested. And you might say, how do you do that? Well, there is a plan. That was a planned act of non-cooperation. There were clergy who were arrested at a Target for similar reasons. We did not go to the Whipple building. That was just in the news yesterday. The Whipple building is the detention center because it is such a point of contention that they didn't want a bunch of clergy from out of state to get arrested and tax their organizing resources, and we respected that. So instead we went to the areas that were designated for us to show support. Next photo, please. This is the memorial for Renee Good. And the next photo, please. Here in this neighborhood, as you can see, the outpouring of support is tremendous. The other thing that is not shown here is that this has become a center of mutual aid. So people, while we spent our time there was a heavy police presence all around. I declined to show them in my photos. But it was a center, continues to be a center of mutual aid and support, both food, money, resources, and other kinds of help. So there are community organizers who are there all the time in case people need support in the community. Okay, now this buddy system that I mentioned was really important. It was cold, so the question that we were required to ask each other every 30 minutes was, are you shivering? Did you stop shivering? Can you still feel your face? And how are your hands and your toes? Okay, that was real because it was so incredibly cold. But it also allowed for us to be in these areas with visibility, in solidarity, and safely. So that is very true. Now, if we can go to the next photo, please. This was taken by my pod member there. This is during the march, which occurred on the Friday afternoon. This march, I'm gonna just give you a little timeline here. On Friday, the organizers said, we should do something, put a call out to clergy. On Saturday, I was writing my MLK speech and said I have to go. And apparently, so did 9,000 other people. That was what happened on Saturday. By Sunday, people were purchasing plane tickets. There was an organization in effect to get people housing, because I am very fortunate in that I had financial support. Not every minister does. How do we get ministers there? By Monday, they had called a general strike because labor then also got involved. The labor unions got involved. They called for a general strike on Friday. Schools shut down and places of employment closed. So between Friday and Friday, something like 80,000 people decided it was important to show up. So if I can see the next slide. This is taken during the march. In case you cannot read it, it says, fueled by tater tots and rage of the North Star. North Star rage and tater tots. That's what's fueling this march. And then the next slide. This is a photo I did not take. 200 of us or so were supposed to gather in the little park there in the middle. And they're estimating somewhere, no one has numbers, but between 50 and 100,000 people showed up. Were we able to get that last video working? Okay, can we show the last one? This is a little snippet here. So we marched to the convention center, and in the convention center was a band waiting for us. And it's kind of hard to see, but what we did is we danced. We danced and we sang as we went in, and because that's so tremendously important to feel that unity. We're gonna go over. I'm looking at the clock. That's fine, we're gonna go over today. In case you're like, where's the coffee? It'll still be there. It'll still be there. Now, there are some questions that the UUA has invited us to consider as an organization. These went out in an email earlier this week. These are not my questions. These are questions, though, that are thought-provoking. So as a community, we should be asking ourselves this. What is the opportunity or the threat as we're engaging in this kind of action? Because it is happening here. It is happening here. I went to Minneapolis. People are focused on Minneapolis. This is happening here. It might take a different shape, but it is happening here. And there are some faith leaders, there are some congregants here, there are some social justice workers in this room right now who are doing this work every week. That's part of our social justice collaborative work, collective work, our rapid response team. We are doing this work, right? So part of what we are engaged with as a larger community is what is the opportunity and the threat? How can we engage as a congregation? Who makes and is impacted by the decision? So I hope that that is a lesson that you take from what I am presenting about Minneapolis today. We went nowhere we weren't invited. We didn't want to create a mess for anybody. We were there in support and in solidarity. So how can we do that as a church community here? Who has the authority and the responsibility to call for action, and who is it going to impact? Next slide, please. So where is our capacity? What are we good at as a community? What resources do we need, and what resources do we have? We'll be considering that as a community here. How is our community affected? So, and then we have to understand, what is community? Are we talking about church community? Are we talking about individuals? Are we talking about Pasadena, Los Angeles? What community means for us? How is our community affected? And the last slide, please. When are the decisions made, and when do they need to be made? So these are two slightly different questions, but also important. What is the timeline? Because I assure you that things are unfolding rapidly on a national context with this authoritarian breakthrough that are going to continue to get worse. That is where we are right now. So what are we going to do as a faith community? Number 6, why is our faith calling us into this discernment? And for those of us here who are gathered, who are Unitarian Universalists, this is tremendously important. But for anyone who is gathered here or who is watching us online, what is our faith calling us to do? What is our sense of moral obligation calling us to do? Because it is calling. How do we answer that? So the question is, how do we answer that? So you might be saying, what do we do about it? So could you show the next slide, please? It has a couple of opportunities. First and foremost, get to know your neighbors, because your neighborhood groups and your communities in which you live are going to be tremendously important. Who do you live by? Who's around you? Who needs your help? What help do you need? Can you call your next door neighbor and say, we have a problem? Get to know your neighbors. Also recommend the resources from the organization called Freedom Trainers. If you are curious or not understanding the tremendous importance of this moment of authoritarian breakthrough, the Freedom Trainers it's an organization that is dedicated to teaching about this kind of moment in time. Locally here, take the lead from some of our local organizations already doing this work. Our Social Justice Collective and the Rapid Response Team is engaged. There are people here in this community engaged with Indalon, the Pasadena Job Center, with CLU, Churla. There are so many. We don't need to recreate any wheel. Hand in hand, we are here, right, to learn from each other. That was what we are doing. Organize and make relationships with some of these organizations. We are doing this as a church. You can do it also as an individual. If you're feeling overwhelmed and find faith-based direction helpful, go to the Side with Love actions. These are the UUA resources that are pointed directly to you as congregants and congregational leaders for how to get involved. And last but not least, don't forget the joy. Don't forget the joy. So we're going to be creating here at this church a singing group for the resistance. Okay? This is happening everywhere. You may have been involved in these before. I'm going to look at you, choir. But not, with all due respect, You don't have to be a trained singer for this. We're gonna gather some folks together. How do we nourish and feed our souls? We're gonna come together in song. And this might take the shape of an interfaith group. It might take the shape of 5 of us. Who knows? Maybe it'll be 500 in Pasadena. I don't know. But here is my direct call to you. You wanna sing? Tell me about it. And let's do something together, okay? So we're gonna practice right now. You guys ready? We're gonna practice. We practiced before the service with our social justice collective. I'm looking at you. I know you're out there. Okay, so this is the song that we learned as faith leaders in Minneapolis. I'm gonna introduce it to you, and we're gonna sing it together. And I know lots of you also like a little gravelly. That's okay, that's not a problem. These are the lines. No one is getting left behind this time. So everybody say it.
No one is getting left behind this time.
Okay, we basically repeat that 3 times. Okay, and then we're gonna say, we get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. Okay, here's a beat. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. Okay? We got that? We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. 3 times. We get there together, never get there at all. One more time. We get there together, never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together, never get there at all. And if you can do some harmony, you can play with this part. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. Get there together, never get there at all. We'll join in for our closing hymn at this point.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing Answering the Call to Love, number 1014.
The truth of our hearts is our guide. We are friends
We are answering the call to love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call to love. We are answering the call to
Well, I lost my voice from Minneapolis. I'm still recovering. And what a day to lead a song in the congregation. They are not unrelated. So thank you for engaging today. Words of our chalice extinguishing. We walk the streets, writes Dave Thompson. We walk the streets like a procession, an altar built out of hope and the heat, demanding that the kingdom of God be not postponed. So when they ask, why are you still marching? Why are you still shouting? Why are you still here? We say because protest is prayer, because justice is an act of faith, because every cry for mercy, every call for dignity, every broken chain is a hallelujah, too holy to be silenced. We pray with our mouths, we pray with our feet. We pray with our stubborn, trembling belief that love must look like liberation, or it is not love at all. And we are here, we are still standing, we're still speaking, we're still praying, and justice rolls down like water, and righteousness like an unbreakable river. May it be so.